What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm meadsyreplays. Welcome back to the channel. Now, in today's video, we have a brand new tank. It is a tier 8 medium, a Swedish tank that looks the part. It really does. I think this tank looks beautiful. It really does look beautiful. It is, of course, the STRV 81 with its legendary camouflage. Now, playing the tank, to be honest, I don't think it is anything special. I don't think it is worth trying to get the tank at all. I would definitely hold fire and wait for it to come in the stores for a little bit of gold. As I've said, it can be a good tank, but I just don't think it is strong enough. Where this tank really shines is the turret armor. Apart from the turret armor, it doesn't. It's not a great tank. I'm not saying it's a bad tank, but it isn't a fantastic tank. So the turret armor is 212 millimeters. Now we're going to show you the couple of games how really you should be trying to play this tank and how you're going to be successful in the tank if you do manage to get it. And if you put it in the wrong position, which is basically flat ground, you are not going to do very well at all. Your whole armor is just 76 millimeters. Now, I play in this tank, I haven't actually come up against any tier 9s, but I'm going to predict that this tank is not going to perform well against those tier 9s. It's definitely going to be a top tier tank, because it even struggles against tier 7s unless you are in a hold down position. But because of the turret, if you are in a hold down position, I still think tier 9s, they're not going to struggle at all. So DPM 2,591. Now, we're not running calibrated shells because it is you don't really gain too much pen. I think it's like you gain 13 or 14 pen. So I'd rather the DPM. Reload time is actually very quick at 4.63 seconds. Penetration is 221 on your standard APCR, and you've also got premium APCR, so you've got 2 lots of APCR, and that is 252 millimeters. So yeah, it's not too bad. It could be better. HE is 42. So your normal APCR does 200 alpha and your premium is 170. So yeah, it's not like a massive gun. It's quick reload and low damage. The high explosive is 260. Aim time is actually very good at 2.6. So is the gun dispersion at 0.299. You do have 10 degrees of gun depression as well, with a top speed of 50 kilometers per hour. Now we're just going to get into some games. I mean, don't get me wrong, the games are not special. Honestly, it's nothing special at all, but I just wanted to show you the kind of positions that you wanted to get the tank in, or that you have to get the tank in, and the kind of positions that if you don't get that tank in, that you're just going to be ripped apart. So here we are in a hold down position, and we did manage to get a bounce. As I've said, the turret armor is actually pretty solid. It really is. And you could bounce almost anything. You know, the Scorpion G there, no problem at all. That's another 460 block damage. Now, unfortunately, this 27A decided to come right behind me, so it just didn't allow me to move as much as I'd like to. So the AMX misses there, the T34 is there, and the Scorpion G is still there as well. So as you can see, I didn't make it difficult for that guy, and he did manage to penetrate me. I'm going to try and back up, and as I back up, I do manage to get another blocked shot from the Scorpion G. So we've still managed to block 1160 damage, no problem whatsoever. But as soon as we start pushing forward, and we're not in a hold down position, this is where we start to get penetrated. So we're going to push the AMX here. Don't know what the T54 lightweight is doing, but yeah, he's pushing forward. I'm going to, you know, if you want to push forward, push forward. I'm just going to sit back and farm a little bit of damage. And again, we're on a bit of flat ground there. The Scorpion G with no problem whatsoever. So we are actually going to take these guys out, and I think we're going to get shot first. No, we're going to get a miss. That was a bit poor from me. I'm not too bothered about the Scorpion G at the moment. I just want to take care of this guy, and then we can move on. In fact, we do actually lose this game, sadly. I lost too many hit points, and we've got an RU-251 over there that is AFK. So yeah, I didn't realise he was AFK. If I did, I would have probably sat back a little bit more. So moving on to the next game here, we're on Falls Creek, and this is again another classic example of how not to play the tank compared to how to play the tank. So we're going to push forward here, and stupidly I didn't realise there was going to be so many tanks here. In fact, there's only 3, but I didn't realise that they were all going to be here, which is why I pushed forward. So we did manage to get 1 bounce, but because of our angles, we did manage to get another bounce. But as soon as they push forward, as you can see, these are tier 7s, or some of them are tier 7s, and they have no issue whatsoever penetrating us. So yeah, you have to be very, very careful. Flat ground is not an option for this tank unless you have support and unless you're behind your team, because they will focus you and they will penetrate you. So, well, I say that and then I get a bounce. So we've still managed to block 1,000 damage there, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I don't want to stay there much longer. I want to run away, because if I do stay there, I'm just going to get absolutely torn apart. Now, for me, the tank reminds me of the Chieftain T95. I don't know why. It just feels that kind of tankish. You know, the good DPM, good reload. Armor on the turret isn't too bad. But the rest of it is pretty bad. And I love the look of this tank. I really do. I think the tank looks absolutely fantastic. It just doesn't feel great. And it's a medium tank that you have to really play in a hold down position. So you can't really play it as a true medium unless you sit behind your team. And that's the only way really you're going to be successful in this tank. So at the moment, I've blocked 1,000 damage. I've only got 1,200 damage. I am being a bit patient here. I'm going to wait for the Yag Tiger to go forward, and then I really sort of want to make my move then, because if they're taking their attention on him, I can sort of push forward, and at least I know where the last 3 tanks are. So there's the T26E3, the Eagle there. Do manage to get a shot into him. Again, I don't want to risk anything at this point. I want to save my hit points as much as I can. So we get the shot into him, and at this point I'm like, do I get the shot? Do I wait? Because there goes the Yag Tiger, and at this point I'm like, okay, do you know what? Ignore that T26E3. Yeah, that T26E3, and go for the more dangerous targets, which is the WZ. I really want to take care of that WZ. I'm not too bothered about this CS52 list. I really want to take care of that WZ because he is the most dangerous tank. So I am going to push forward, and all 3 tanks are going to be around here. There's the WZ. At the minute, I ain't got a clear shot on him, so I do get the shot. So yeah, very, very quick reload. Very quick reload. And I don't mind the tank at all, to be fair. As I've said, the gun depression is pretty solid. The accuracy is pretty solid. The aim time is pretty solid. For me, it's just the armor. And I think, you know, I don't mind it having a good turret, because at least there is a certain way that you could play it. So it might actually suit your play style. It's a medium tank that you need to go hold down in. I personally would probably like maybe even weaker armor and more alpha, but you know, who knows. As it stands, I don't mind the tank. I don't think it is fantastic, as long as you play it a certain way. But definitely not worth crates. It definitely is not worth crates. So wait for it to come back. I'm sure it will in the next few months. So I hope you enjoyed today's video, guys. I'm meadsyreplays, and I'll catch you all soon. Bye-bye. With